Good morning, televiewers of My Media Prime Television. Thank you so much for honoring our invitation once again on this other edition of the program The Brief, which is of course always dedicated to the reviews of striking headlines in the newspapers. On today's edition of the program, the newspapers are focusing on the birthday of President Paul Biya. President Paul Biya turned 90 years old yesterday, and celebrations marking the 90th birthday of President Paul Biya were staged across the national territory by supporters of President Paul Biya as well as those of the ruling CPD and political party. President Paul Biya also took off time to celebrate his birthday, and he sent out messages to Cameroonians. And of course, talking about his birthday, we shall also talk about the reaction of Human Rights Watch regarding the killing of CDC workers in the southwest region of Cameroon. The rights group has condemned the act, and also the Bishop of Buea has described the act as a crime against humanity. We shall dwell on that this morning, and many other headlines as the newspapers are telling us this morning in Cameroon. Gwladys Bomotonguina is here. Let's have the headlines in the French language newspaper. Bonjour Gwladys.
Bonjour Lasha, bonjour à vous et merci de rester fidèle à Deux Briefs, votre émission bilingue de revue de presse sur My Media Prime Télévision. Mesdames, Messieurs, ce matin, nous débutons avec le messager qui nous plonge dans la grande criminalité dans la région de l'Ouest Cameroun. En effet, le messager nous révèle ce matin que le spectre de l'affaire Zogo plane donc dans la région de l'Ouest Cameroun, alors que Maître Jean Fotio, greffier de justice à la retraite, a été retrouvé mutilé et tué à la frontière Bayangam-Batoufam, semant donc la panique au sein des populations. Les détails sont en page 9 du messager ce matin. En page 4, le journal nous parle de Akere Mouna, le mouvement Now New Look. C'est l'information que nous présente ce matin le messager. Mesdames, Messieurs, à sa page 7, le journal nous parle de la Saint-Valentin du 14 février qui se célèbre ce jour. L'amour selon Saint-Valentin, c'est dans cette édition du messager. En page 3, le journal nous parle de l'anniversaire du chef de l'État, son excellence Paul Biya. En 90 de Paul Biya, l'hommage des jeunes au président patriarche. Nous poursuivons ce matin avec l'économie quotidienne. Mesdames, Messieurs, en grand titre, nous parle de l'auto-emploi des jeunes au Cameroun. C'est le financement qui manque le plus. C'est l'information que présente ce matin en grand titre l'économie quotidienne. Malgré leur engouement et leur idée novatrice, ils sont donc confrontés à plusieurs difficultés. La principale est le manque de ressources financières. C'est l'information que nous présente ce matin l'économie quotidienne. Les détails sont en page 3 de cette édition. En page 10, le journal nous parle d'agriculture et d'élevage au Cameroun. Plus de 126 millions de francs CFA ont été distribués dans 30 GIC dans le centre du Cameroun. Toujours dans le même journal, le journal nous amène au FMI, conseil le message d'Eugène Nyambal et à Modeste Mopa suite à son départ pour le FMI. L'intégralité, c'est dans cette édition de l'économie quotidienne de sa page 6 jusqu'en page 7. Mesdames, Messieurs, nous continuons avec le journal Le Jour ce matin. Le journal Le Jour parle en grand titre de la menace d'Ebola. C'est une question posée ce matin. Est-ce que Ebola menace donc le Cameroun? En effet, une fièvre hémorragique a déjà fait 23 morts en une semaine dans les villages équato-guinéens limitrophes au Cameroun. Les détails sont en page 2 jusqu'à 3 du journal Le Jour ce matin. En page 9, le journal nous parle de sport pour parler ici de championnat professionnel. Le stade de Bafang suspendu. Cette sanction du CTFP fait donc suite aux actes de violence ayant émaillé le match de dimanche dernier. Mesdames, Messieurs, nous continuons avec Éco-Santé ce matin qui nous parle, lui, de la lutte contre le VIH-Sida et des IST au Cameroun. Chantal Biya injecte donc le vaccin social à Atok. c'était au cours d'une campagne d'éducation préventive qui s'est donc déroulée les 8 et 9 février 2023 dans la salle des actes de la mairie d'Atok. Les détails sont en page 3 d'Éco Santé ce matin. Mesdames, Messieurs, nous clôturons avec Info à chaud. Info à chaud par lui en grand titre de l'affaire Martinez-Zogo. Le beau-père a-t-il cédé? C'est la question que nous pose ce matin l'Info à chaud. En effet, selon le journaliste Guy Zogo, le beau-père de Zomlois, colonel à la retraite Etundi Nsah, aurait donc corroboré les affirmations du colonel Justin Damnoué, incriminant donc son beau-fils. Les détails sont donc en page 2 de l'info à chaud ce matin. Mesdames, Messieurs, en page 7, le journal nous parle de Louis-Marie Cacdieu, économiste. L'idée donc des fonds de garantie aux jeunes entrepreneurs est-il efficace au Cameroun actuellement? C'est la question posée ce matin par cet économiste. Mesdames, Messieurs, voilà pour vos titres ce matin. En langue française, place à la découverte de ces titres en langue anglaise. Et c'est avec toi, Lasha.
Thank you, Gwladys Bomotonguina. Thank you to televiewers on My Media Prime for staying with us. Let's kickstart this morning with the Voice newspaper. The Voice newspaper is interested in the mysterious illness that has hit Cameroon, or hit Equatorial Guinea, a neighboring village to Cameroon over there in the south region of Cameroon. Government limits circulation along Equatorial Guinea border as mysterious plague hacks hundreds. We are told that several persons have died so far, and government is limiting circulation along that stretch of route, or Abombang, along Equatorial Guinea borders in the south region of Cameroon. Still in the Voice newspaper, at the 57th National Youth Day, BIA urges youths to be resilient amidst socio-economic challenges. And over there in Bamenda, Northwest Governor Adolphe Lily Lafrique re-echoes BIA's self-employment message to youths over there in the Northwest region of Cameroon. And journalists in danger. Human Rights Watch decries perils of journalism in Cameroon. The International Rights Group also condemned the killing of CDC workers in the southwest region of Cameroon. President Paul Biya at 90. This time around, the paper is focusing on the divine blend of grace and wisdom of President Paul Biya. President Paul Biya turned 90 years yesterday, and he has been ruling Cameroon for over 41 years, as per what we are reading in the papers. President Paul Biya, who was born on the 13th day of February 1933, 13th day of February is a special day, a magic day, as per what this newspaper is telling us. We equally told you yesterday that there is something special with the number 13 when it comes to February. Get full details on the blend of divine grace and wisdom in this edition of the said newspaper, talking about President Paul Biya, who is 90 years old, or who clocked 90 years old yesterday. We leave the Voice newspaper. We are with Municipal Updates. Municipal Updates newspaper is interested in the celebration of the anniversary of President Paul Biya. Nation thanks God as Biya clocks 90 years. And over there in Limbe, still talking about the 90th birthday celebration of Head of State President Paul Biya. Limbe City Mayor hails Biya's resilience. Full details on page 7 of this edition of Municipal Updates newspaper. We end this morning with the Guardian Post newspaper. The Guardian Post is also focusing on the 90th birthday of President Paul Biya. And this morning, the paper writes, 90 hot files are staring Biya at 90. Digging further, Cameroon's #1 public servant for 41 years and still counting, President Paul Biya clocked 90 years yesterday. It is an age which many say remains a blessing for one to live up, even as dotted celebrations went underway nationwide, especially those staged by supporters. Observers proceed, and rightly so, that there are other issues worth talking about at a time such as this. Pundits say, even as they are grateful to God for adding another year to President Paul Biya's age at 90, they maintain he has hot files staring at him as he begins another year in his life. Full details on pages 6 through 8 of this edition of the Guardian Post newspaper. killing of CDC workers, crime against humanity. Those were the words of Boya Bishop was speaking recently, talking about or condemning the killing of workers of the Cameroon Development Corporation, CDC, who were shot and killed on their way back from banana plantations in Mundoni. Get full details in this edition of the Guardian Post newspaper, talking about the outing of Boya Bishop, talking about the killing of those CDC workers. He described described the killing as crime against humanity. Garbu, 14 February 2020 to 14 February 2023, revisiting Garbu massacre 3 years after. And of course, today marks exactly 3 years after 21 civilians, including 13 children and a pregnant woman, were massacred in Garbu, a quarter in Tumbo village in Ndonga Mountain Division of the Northwest region of Cameroon. President Paul Biya had ordered for investigations into the killing of those civilians over there. And the investigations or the matter is still at the level of the military tribunal in Yaoundé, as we are told. And of course, let's take you to the west region of the country in Bafang to talk about Elite 2 Championship. Bafang Municipal Stadium suspended over attack on match officials. The Bafang Municipal Stadium, as we are reading in the paper, in the west region of Cameroon, serving as home ground for MTN Elite 2 club Unisport of Bafang, has been suspended indefinitely. The decision to suspend the football facility from all competitions was taken Monday, February 13, by the Transitional Council of Professional Football, known by the French acronym as CTFP. The decision came shortly after football officials were attacked during a match in that part of the country. Thank you for watching televiewers of My Media Prime Television. This is what we gather for you this day in the papers, in the English language newspapers, hoping that you stay with us for the analysis as the papers are telling us this morning. Human Rights Watch has reacted to the killing of those CDC workers in the southwest region of Cameroon. We are equally told Boya Bishop has also described the killing as crime against humanity. Those workers who were only going to the farms to fend for themselves or to look for what their families will eat could not return home that day after they were shot and killed by suspected Ambazonia fighters. Gwladys.
Oui, Lasha, malheureusement, c'est une situation triste. Une autre situation triste parce que ce n'est pas la première fois. Mais au jour d'aujourd'hui, ce que moi je peux dire, c'est que nous sommes fatigués en fait. Moi, particulièrement, moi, je suis fatiguée d'entendre toujours les gens qui condamnent les actes avec la dernière énergie, les gens qui trouvent que ces actions sont vraiment barbares et tout. Mais malheureusement, rien n'est fait. Là, chacun se dit, c'est 6 ans aujourd'hui. Alors, nous sommes carrément fatigués de ces condamnations sans action. Nous avons besoin d'action. Nous avons besoin que cette crise aujourd'hui s'arrête parce que elle a déjà fait couler tellement de sang. On se demande quelle quantité de sang faudrait-il encore couler pour que, ou bien avant que cette crise ne prenne fin, ou bien avant que les gens qui dirigent cette crise au jour d'aujourd'hui, ou les gens qui se font de l'argent derrière cette crise au jour d'aujourd'hui, ne décident d'arrêter. C'est la question que nous nous posons, malheureusement.
Questions that need answers. We are still waiting for the answer. Le Messager this morning took us to the West region to talk about the killing of a lawyer. I followed you very keenly. The lawyer had something to do with revelation regarding Martinez Zogo. I don't know what how.
Donc le journal relatait, reflétait en fait l'assassinat de cet avocat comme ressemblant au cas de Martinez Zogo parce que lui aussi il a été mutilé. Il a été mutilé avant d'être tué en fait. Donc il a subi des tortures avant d'être tué. Donc au jour d'aujourd'hui, la question qui est posée, c'est est-ce que c'est un nouveau rythme de vie au Cameroun, un nouveau style de vie au Cameroun, où on va kidnapper des gens, les mutiler, les tuer?
Indicate, Gwladys, the level of security? Does it mean that our security officials are no longer in control of our cities, our villages, our towns. What is actually happening that civilians are just being, whisked off to unknown destinations, at the end of the day killed and mutilated as if they are not human beings.
Lasha, il y a plusieurs causes à ce genre style de comportement observé au jour d'aujourd'hui par les Camerounais. La première des choses que je vais dire, c'est que pour parler d'insécurité des militaires qui ne sont pas peut-être à leur poste au jour d'aujourd'hui, peut-être que la majorité sont au nord-ouest et au sud-ouest, qui sait? Ils sont certainement là-bas et on ne peut pas, parce qu'il y a carrément une liste qui a été sortie ou bien une annonce de recrutement d'hommes en tenue. Et au jour d'aujourd'hui, c'est difficile pour les jeunes Camerounais d'accepter de faire partie de l'armée parce qu'ils ne veulent pas se retrouver à être envoyés peut-être dans le nord-ouest et le sud-ouest pour combattre avec les séparatistes. Donc au jour d'aujourd'hui, peut-être on se retrouve avec...
Is it not also an indication that probably Cameroonians and lawyers and journalists who almost are doing the same kind of job, they have enough information as to the rotten nature of the moral situation of our country, how our country is being governed. Those that are supposed to govern us, they are governing us using state resources with impunity. And once these people have the information, they will not want them to send out the information, reason why they are targeting lawyers and journalists in Cameroon.
C'est simple, Lasha Kinsley. Au jour d'aujourd'hui au Cameroun, malheureusement, les journalistes, les avocats et même les populations, ces personnes-là qui ont le courage.
Un avocat qui a été tué ici à Douala,
oui.
Ça n'a même pas fait un mois,
voilà.
si je me souviens.
Si quelqu'un a même le courage de peut-être parler d'une situation vraiment qui touche la communauté camerounaise au jour d'aujourd'hui, la personne est une cible de ces personnes, de ces assassins au jour d'aujourd'hui. Lasha Kinsley, c'est compliqué de vivre dans un pays comme le Cameroun en ce moment. Actuellement, c'est carrément compliqué de vivre au Cameroun.
We had one outspoken senator who was shot in broad daylight in Bamenda, shot and killed. We are talking about Senator Barrister Henry Kemende, may his soul rest in perfect peace. He was shot and killed.
Au jour d'aujourd'hui, on ne connaît pas qui a tué.
Maybe they were blaming it on the Anglophone crisis.
Okay.
Maybe in the Anglophone
and so what?
Insecurity is the order of the day now because of the crisis. He was shot and killed in broad daylight. We have other people who are still being killed in other
La vérité,
regions
c'est
of
que
Cameroon.
Lasha Kinsley,
What has gone wrong with our security system?
L'immoralité au Cameroun est arrivée à son apogée. Au Cameroun, c'est l'immoralité qui prime. On peut voir même, d'abord ça commence par la tête, les leaders de ce pays, comment est-ce qu'ils se comportent, même lorsqu'ils rencontrent même les populations. La manière avec laquelle ils interagissent avec les populations, tu as l'impression que les populations sont peut-être, je sais pas moi trop quoi, des insectes ou bien je sais pas moi trop quoi, de la merde. Donc on peut voir l'immoralité au cœur même des attitudes des Camerounais aujourd'hui. Et on ne peut blâmer ça que sur une chose, on peut blâmer ça que sur la pauvreté, sur la situation par laquelle passent les Camerounais au jour d'aujourd'hui. On ne peut blâmer cette situation ou bien ces réactions, parce que ici ce sont des réactions, que sur des actes qui ont été posés auparavant et qui n'ont pas une bonne résultante aujourd'hui, non que cette résultante négative qui est ce genre de comportement où on va voir les Camerounais peut-être qui agressent d'autres, qui mutilent d'autres, où on a l'impression, Lasha ici, de se retrouver à Casablanca, dans un pays où c'est la drogue qui règne, où, oui, parce que nous on a l'habitude, oui, on avait l'habitude de voir ça dans des films. Au jour d'aujourd'hui au Cameroun, on a l'impression qu'on vient film. Oui, on a l'impression d'être dans une cité où c'est le deal, c'est les dealers de drogue et puis c'est à chacun qui
we always have crime, but apparently the rate it has taken
non, mais ça a augmenté.
You quite remember that one day, I'm sure you also ran in Douala here. They're talking about micro, where people they move in broad daylight with machetes, cutlasses. And they rob people in broad daylight.
Ok.
It had to take
la question que je veux poser, c'est que...
the governor of this region to hit his hands on the table.
Lasha, la question que je veux poser, c'est que quand ces jeunes-là se déplaçaient avec les machettes, où était l'armée? Où étaient les forces de l'ordre, de maintien de l'ordre? Elles aussi, elles avaient besoin de fuir ou quoi? Quelle stratégie? Quelle stratégie? Jusqu'à ce que les microbes là soient partis. Les policiers n'étaient pas là. Jusqu'à ce que les microbes soient partis. Donc, un groupe de, je sais pas moi, 50 jeunes vont marcher dans la ville et il n'y a pas de policiers. Et ils vont harasser les populations et ils vont repartir tranquillement. Et on se dit qu'on est encore dans un pays. Nous ne sommes pas dans un pays, nous sommes dans un film. Le Cameroun aujourd'hui, c'est un film. On ne peut pas expliquer ça. Dans quel pays est-ce qu'on va expliquer qu'un groupe de personnes, on ne parle pas de 2 jeunes ou bien de 3 jeunes ou bien de 5 ans, on parle d'un groupe de 50 jeunes qui se déplacent dans la ville et en toute impunité font du désordre et il n'y a pas la police. Sérieusement. Alors, à ce niveau-ci, qu'est-ce que nous allons dire? Peut-être que dans nos commissariats, il n'y a plus assez de policiers. On a envoyé tous les policiers peut-être dans le nord-ouest et le sud-ouest. C'est la conclusion que... Non, franchement, c'est la conclusion qu'on peut tirer ici parce qu'on ne peut pas comprendre ni concevoir comment, au jour d'aujourd'hui, les populations sont laissées abandonnées à elles-mêmes. Quand on parle d'insécurité, les populations sont abandonnées à elles-mêmes. Là, chacun sait, ces populations, ces personnes qui ont été tuées, 5 personnes qui ont été tuées à la CDC, s'il y avait la sécurité militaire autour de la CDC, je suis certaine que ces hommes-là ne seraient pas morts aujourd'hui. Oui, je suis certaine.
Imagine a situation where there will be gunfire.
Il ne devait pas y avoir. On a parlé tantôt d'une certaine route où l'accès, elle est ouverte, mais personne ne passe. En fait, les populations ne passent pas. Sauf que l'armée, elle passe. Alors pourquoi l'armée n'est pas attaquée? Non, mais si l'armée n'est pas... Voilà.
So are you telling me that it's a game that is ongoing?
Je ne dis pas que c'est un jeu qui est en train d'être fait. Ce que je dis, c'est que...
You are talking about the Bamisri in Gokitunja.
Oui.
Nobody, separatists declare it.
Personne ne passe. Mais les policiers, eux, ils passent. On ne les attaque pas. Mais si un civil passe, on l'attaque. Alors, à ce niveau-ci, la question qu'on se pose, c'est que est-ce que les policiers ou bien les forces de maintien de l'ordre, à ce niveau-là, sont de connivence avec les séparatistes et pour quel but et pour quelle raison? C'est la question qu'on se pose, entre guillemets. Est-ce que à ce niveau-ci, on peut comprendre que les séparatistes ont peur des hommes en tenue ou des forces de maintien de l'ordre dans cette partie du pays? Alors, si les séparatistes sont arrivés à avoir peur des forces de maintien de l'ordre, c'est la raison pour laquelle on doit les mettre partout pour sécuriser les populations. On doit les mettre partout pour sécuriser les populations parce que peut-être à ce niveau, si les séparatistes ont déjà peur de pourquoi ils peuvent avoir l'accès à cette route sans être attaqués par les séparatistes et les populations, elles, ne peuvent pas.
Why don't we tackle the root cause of the problem?
C'est quoi le root cause of the problem? Chaque jour,
on
entend le root cause of the problem. C'est quoi? Parce qu'à la fin, on ne connaît même pas.
Non,
on ne connaît pas. C'est quoi le vrai problème?
Those who picked up arms were saying that the Anglophone population of the Northwest and Southwest region were being marginalized. Their educational system was being infiltrated by Francophones who do not have a mastery of the English educational system. They are courts, which is of course they are practicing the common law in the Northwest and in the Northwest and South. They were saying Francophone magistrates to come and preside over audiences in court.
Ce sont des plaintes qu'ils ont présentées.
Where alleged criminals they were not understanding judgment. You judge people in the language that they don't understand. Those are some of the things that they were decrying. Yes.
Mais au jour d'aujourd'hui...
So, is it not enough root cause? Can you not say
mais attends, au jour d'aujourd'hui, je pense que certaines de ces demandes ont été remplies.
Mais pourquoi le conflit persiste?
Voilà. Alors, ce n'est donc pas le root cause. Oui, parce que si certaines de ces plaintes ont été résolues et qu'aujourd'hui, le conflit perdure, ça voudrait dire que ce n'était pas ça la raison du conflit. C'était pas là la raison du conflit. Quelle est la véritable raison de ce conflit? Parce que nous, on veut connaître, parce qu'à la fin, on ne connaît pas. Parce que si on dit, c'est parce que le common law s'est monté, c'est descendu, ok, ça a été, je vais dire, aménagé. Peut-être pas à 100%, mais peut-être à 60% ou à 70%. C'est déjà un pas, parce que ça ne peut pas se faire d'un trait. Mais au jour d'aujourd'hui, si il y a eu quand même, je sais pas moi, quoi, une certaine mouvance dans aller vers résoudre le problème et que le problème perdu comme si c'était le premier jour, alors ce n'est pas ça le problème de fond. Ce n'est pas ça le problème de fond. Il y a un autre problème de fond. Et qu'il faudrait qu'on trouve ou bien qu'on nous révèle. Parce qu'au jour d'aujourd'hui, nous sommes fatigués de voir nos frères être tués, nos frères et sœurs être tués, de voir des gens mourir pour quelque chose qu'ils ne connaissent même pas. Parce que ces personnes-là meurent aujourd'hui pour des choses qu'elles ne connaissent pas.
And talking about killing, this day in history marks exactly 3 years since alleged military invaded a quarter called Ngabu in Tumbo village in Donga Mountain, killing children, women, as the paper is telling us this morning.
Killing children.
Tuant
les enfants. Les enfants qui ne connaissent même pas de quoi il est question.
See, in connection to the crisis, say today marks exactly 3 years after 21 civilians, including 13 children and a pregnant woman, were killed or massacred in Gabu. That's a quarter in Tumbo, a village in Donga Mountain Division, still linked to the Anglophone crisis.
Combien?
Military going to look after suspected Ambazonian fighters and
combien
had
de
to
morts?
hit a wrong target.
Combien de morts encore devons-nous enregistrer au Cameroun? Ok, ça fait 3 ans après Ngarbou. Aujourd'hui, peut-être même les commanditaires ou bien les meurtriers n'ont reçu aucune sanction ou peut-être ont été mutés ailleurs. C'est peut-être la seule sanction qu'elles ont reçue. Mais ces familles qui ont perdu leurs membres et consorts sont toujours dans la peine. Alors quelle quantité de sang doit-on encore couler? Combien de familles doivent être encore révoltées? Finirons-nous un jour cette crise?
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning, sir. Welcome.
Yeah, good morning.
Welcome, sir. Your name, where you are calling us from?
I'm Nsah calling from Amanda.
Yes, your contribution, sir. Today marks...
Yeah, concerning the program going on, and that female journalist was saying that up to now, she doesn't know what is really the Anglophone problem, what is the root cause. It was the same question during Mr. Kumilion's program at 7 o'clock, that the panelists were saying that even ask some ministers in Yamende now, that what is the problem Anglophone, what is the root cause of the problem Anglophone? Some of them will not be able to explain to you, meaning they don't bother what really the Anglophone problem is and what is even the cause. They don't bother to even know what is happening. So I'm also shocked to even hear from a journalist who is somebody who's supposed to even dig information and know what is really happening.
No, she is wondering, sir. Sir. Not that.
I'm really shocked.
Yes, sir. Are you there?
Happy Valentine's Day. Now,
no, how can you say? How can you say you don't have time to explain? You summarize everything in 2 minutes, please. We have ears. We have time to listen to you.
No, it was a problem concerning the marginalization of Anglophones, and it was tabled by the lawyers and the teachers.
So that's the root cause of the problem.
There was a consortium here. There was a consortium here in Bamenda that the members of consortium were arrested. Then everything just sparked at that very day from Bamenda and the Southwest.
So according to you, this is the root cause
of the problem.
Was
just that what you are talking about. Don't you think something is something bigger than what you are just saying?
Il est parti.
Mr. Tebong, can you close the line for now? Let's take Maître Alex. Let's take Maître Alex Ndive, who is joining us on the line to UK this morning. We'll come back to our callers. Maître Alex, good morning and welcome to the program.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Lasha. Good morning, Gwladys. It's a pleasure to be on your program today.
Thank you so much for joining us. We are talking about persistent or the continuous killing of citizens in the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon, with the recent being the workers of Cameroon Development Corporation, 5 of them who were shot and killed by suspected Ambazonia fighters. And like the last caller said, at the end of the day, somebody asked yesterday, what is really the root cause of the Anglophone crisis?
Yes, Mr. Lasha, I will answer your question very, very straightforward. I will start by condemning the killing of the CDC workers. But however, we should make this clear, and sometimes we have to understand this is very important. A government are people who they have been given authority to govern a country. And to govern a country, function is to maintain law and order, national security, to protect your citizens and to enforce law. I am sick to see people blaming criminals in the Cameroon. There are criminals everywhere in the world. There are criminals in the UK, criminals in European countries, in America. When you commit a crime, don't blame the criminal. The police must investigate the matter, arrest the people, and they go to court. There is a trial, they punish them. That is how it works. When you have a government that blames criminals, we are in trouble. We are in big trouble. You don't blame criminals. Criminals are criminals. Somebody cannot come and steal in your house, Mr. Lasha. You say, why did you come here? You should stop stealing. No, they are thieves. That's why we have a criminal justice system. Let the government learn how to govern. Let the government use the criminal procedure in the country. That's what happened. You cannot be blaming people committing crime. What you do, you prosecute them. I don't know if the government understands why they are a government. You talk about the other caller talking about the root cause. The root cause is very, very simple. They say Cameroon is one and indivisible. Mr. Lasha, when you were growing up as a young person, can you aspire that you want to be one day the Director General of CRTV? When you are growing up as a young person, can you aspire that you want to be the Director of Sonara or CDC? Can you want to be a minister or a president of a country? If you want, they should remove the glass ceiling. There is a glass ceiling that some people, they cannot go above that glass ceiling. There is a glass ceiling that when I was studying, I went to Mbwakele, I did public law, everything was in French. There is a lot of glass ceiling. We, our government, tell us, le Cameroon est bilingue. A government that does not know that Cameroon is multilingual, it tells you Cameroon is bilingue. Are they fit to run the country? We are not bilingual. We are using 2 foreign languages as our working official language. To be honest, we need to scrape that country and start constructing it from zero and put people who are competent to know what they are doing in that country.
Okay.
Donc, Maître Alex Ndiver, à vous écouter, le problème fondamental de cette crise, c'est la marginalisation.
Gwladys, I did not get your question.
So the fundamental problem that we have in the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon is marginalization. From what you are saying, that's what she's asking you.
Yeah, the issue to me is simple. Listen, there are already solutions everywhere in the world. Democracy, we copy it from somewhere. Democracy is not only about election.
No, Maître Alex, we are asking you this question. You are a lawyer, very learned for that matter. We're asking you this question because it is coming up. Many people keep asking, what is the root cause of the problem? Because they don't understand anymore.
Mr. Lasha, there is a problem. But before I dive into the problem, there are people who have been in power for 60 years that themselves coming out from that problem. That is why we cannot solve the problem. The problem is very simple. I've made it time and again on your program. Some foreign country came and create some countries, the English and French part. The French part is using their institution on the English part while they are obliterating the institution of the French part. I will repeat what I've been telling you on your program. In Northwest and Southwest, former British Cameroon, we don't use unelected governor, we use elected people. We don't use a NAM that came from France. We don't use École Normale Supérieure from France. We don't try civilians in military tribunals.
Maître Alex.
So those are the problems.
Maître Alex.
All the government needs to do, the solution is simple.
Metro Alex, this thing you are saying, Metro Alex, this thing you are saying, if you take an amber boys in the bush, will he be saying the same thing you are saying? Do they even know that this is the problem? Do they know that do they know that this is the problem? This is what they are fighting for?
Mr. Lasha, I will make it this from my own personal experience. When I was young in Cameroon, as a boy, we used to go around fighting Anglophone problem. The government have waited for more than 20, 30, 60 years. The thing have gone out. I'm not insulting them. Some people who are not as educated as myself when I was young. If the government would have solved this problem when the former vice president of Cameroon, Pa Foncha and Pa Muna, they went to the UN, they told the government that it is time to solve this problem. If they would have solved that problem then, there wouldn't have been any amber now.
Metro Alex.
Unfortunately, let me learn Gwladys.
Okay.
Unfortunately, when you go to some villages, I've never been there in Cameroon, Mr. Lasha, you cannot tell me that some people in Dok or in Banso or in Kikakilaki or some people in Lebialem in the village, some of those young people who grew in that country, they don't know the government. They haven't really put them in a certain pattern or principle. They cannot react like yourself and myself. The problem today is that the government, to me, to an extent, there's no principle on how to run a country. If you ask an average person in a village, some of these guys, they had nothing to do in their life. So this is an opportunity to steal. So we generalize, we call Amber. If I want to look at Amber, to me, Amber is a landed lawyer from Godi Dinka. He knew what he was doing. Unfortunately, people have been calling time immemorial to solve this problem. And sometimes when there's confusion, thieves, they come in. As you say, some of these guys, they don't know what they are doing. They use excuses. They are marginalizing us. They don't know what it is. But they don't need to know.
Yeah, Metro Alex, there's this rise in a certain phenomenon of killing of lawyers and journalists in the country, and apparently the security situation or safety of Cameroonians is something that many people are really worried. Cameroonians are worried for their lives.
Mr. Lasha, I'm not surprised when I discuss or sometimes I am on social media and I see the way people exchange with me. I ask myself, if physically I'm around among these people, they will surely kill me. Because Cameroonians, there's a lot of hate, there's lack of leadership, and at the end of the day, people settle scores down. You don't know who can kill you in Cameroon. I was there. People call me, even when I was at your studio, some friend called, don't go there. They go, I said, I don't care. Because sometimes some of us, when we fight for what we are fighting, we are ready to, you think we are joking. Some of us, we don't bother. So you don't know who can kill you now in Cameroon. You might have a problem with your land, with somebody, a land problem. That person will kill you, you think it's Amber or you think it's government. We don't know who is the killer today in Cameroon. People are settling.
Our security not supposed to be at work.
That is what I just told you here today. That the job of the government is to maintain law and order, to secure the citizen, to enforce law. I saw what happened with the CDC worker. I saw a video and I was so shocked. A guy, I'm sure one of the wounded guy was on the floor. And he was telling this military man, please, can you put me in a car in pidgin English, in broken English? This man was speaking French. Why do you send people to who speak French to go to people who speak pidgin English? Administratively, you can't do that. But that is what the government is doing. When you send people to go and assist people, they have to speak the same language. They have to relate to each other. If it is broken English, send military people or police people who speak broken English.
Maître Alex Divet, vous avez présenté depuis le début de votre analyse une situation où le Cameroun a été créé par des colons divisés.
Somebody has asked a certain question whether the Amber boys know why they are fighting. Some cannot even write their names, so they are just fighting like...
Sir, what is your name, please? Where are you calling us from?
That's what I can say.
Hello?
Hello.
Your name, where you're calling us from. You don't just come to the program and start talking.
My name is Cedrick. I'm calling from Kribi.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for your contribution.
Alors, Maître Alex Ndivé, vous avez parlé d'un problème, la création du Cameroun, deux Cameroun, le Cameroun français et le Cameroun anglais. À vous écouter, depuis que vous élaborez, on a l'impression que le problème au jour d'aujourd'hui, c'est l'anglais et le français.
A language problem.
I've been using institution. I don't know why, Listen, if you look at Canada, some people, when the French and other English people, they colonize it, they realize that they have foreign institution. So Quebec is governing itself. That's what is happening. We realize that in Cameroon, some foreign people came, unfortunately or fortunately, they came and did ABC in our country. So, what I can say, not you, Gwladys, the governing party in Cameroon, they love French institution, economy superior, and now military tribunal, unelected governor. They love it. So why can they not practice those French dictatorial institutions in the French part of Cameroon?
Mais vous avez dit, maître, que le Cameroun est un et indivisible. Comment vous voulez donc que les institutions soient divisées?
Miss Gwladys.
Oui.
Because you married your wife, an indivisible marriage doesn't mean all of you should be eating kwakoko, achu, or timanambusa. That's not it. We should stop misinterpreting where United Kingdom is one and indivisible, but the Scottish people have their own government, their own parliament. That is democracy. Northern Ireland.
Donc ce que vous proposez, maître Alex, c'est que la partie anglaise du Cameroun ait son propre gouvernement.
Say it again, please.
Are you saying that the Northwest and Southwest regions or the Anglophone regions should have its own government?
It should have its own parliament. Listen, at the end of the day, let me tell you this. Mr. Lasha, do you tell Bali, Nyonga people to come and have the same customary law with the people of Ndo? Do you tell the people of some Bameleke people or Bafan people to have the same meeting with Bangate? No, it is already working. But the level that they are refusing us to have the same thing is the French and English matter. The institution, all our customary institution in the Cameroon is separate. So Cameroon is one and indivisible. What is it that a Betty man is practicing another culture from a man if Cameroon is one and indivisible? Why are all of us not practicing Betty custom and tradition because we are one and indivisible? We should stop fooling people. The government should learn and be open-minded and be liberal. Know that we are different and democracy is about difference. One and indivisible means I love timanambusa, you love egusi soup. When you force everybody to eat timanambusa, it's divisible.
Yeah, Mr. Alex, in 1 minute, you don't have much time to waste. In 1 minute, now that government has come out clearly and said she did not mandate Canada to mediate in the ongoing conflict, where do we move from this end? Where do we move from?
My point, I want to make it clear, Mr. Lasha, for those of you or any person who is saying that government mandated Canada, we know the modus operandi of the government. If anything wants to come out, it has to be a signature, high instruction for President Paul Biya. Was there any high instruction for President Paul Biya? No. Some junior ministers might go around fighting for their interests. As the tectonic plate is changing, Mr. Biya is old. They are trying to position themselves. So to me, to an extent, I'm saying if we look at the modus operandi of
so are you saying that the Canadian government,
because it's only one person who authorized things in that country.
Are you saying that the Canadian government lied? The Canadian government lied?
I'm not saying that they lied. The Canadian government did not do its due diligence. Due diligence in the sense that it's only Mr. Biya who authorized things in that country. So any other person who comes in the name of whether it's the Prime Minister, whether it's Ngongo or whatsoever, is not Mr. Biya. So that is what the Canadian government would have known, that there is only one person who signs presidential decree, gives high instruction. Was there a high instruction for the Canadian talk? Was there a presidential decree? The answer is no. So the Canadian government too, they understand, they have representatives in Cameroon. They know that only Mr. Biya can authorize something. Lie or not lie is not the problem.
Thank you, Mr. Alex.
Follow the modus operandi of the government.
Thank you, Mr. Alex, for coming this morning. Thank you to our callers and other televiewers of My Media Prime who watched this program today. Produced for us by Christain Tebong. Gwladys Bomotonguina assisted me with the presentation, hoping that we'll be back tomorrow for another edition of the program. Happy Valentine's Day to those who believe in Valentine's Day. Bye-bye from this end.